I think we are hostage to other people's perceived opinions of us. I think the biggest lesson that I've learned of all of them, and there's been millions of them, is to just not care what people think. I think we are hostage to other people's perceived opinions of us, and the reality is that most people are far too busy with their own lives to have any judgments of us. So just do it. Don't be worrying about what other people think. I suppose I consider my career journey unconventional, but I think unconventional is probably more normal than not. I think the idea of having a very linear career from one point to another is kind of dying, and I think I call my career squiggly because it wasn't the way that I saw it unfolding. But I wouldn't change anything either, and I think it's the fact that there are not right and wrong answers. There are many different answers and many different decisions that can take you to the same place, and I think it's having an openness to understand that you're going to have to change the plan to get to where you want to go. Ooh, my definition of success, you know, since the pandemic and since turning 50, my definition of success has become clearer and clearer and more distilled. For me, it is about surrounding myself with the people that feed my soul, make me happy, build me up, but also that I can do the same for them. And there's a beautiful sort of reciprocity there, that it is kind of flowing both ways. My family is everything to me, my health is really important. And so they're the foundation blocks. And then if you go to career, to me it's impact. It's why are you doing what you're doing? What is the point of it? And you know, money is great, but money is just choice. I think the real riches are in having a positive impact on people through the work that you do, and that's certainly what I do with WorkEqual. I hope that's what I do with all of my enterprises, with Lennon Courtney, with Lift Ireland, and through my speaking as well, that there is an opportunity to leave people thinking about things a little bit differently than when you met them. I suppose I do have a lot of clarity around what success is now, but when I was younger, 18, 19, 20, that clarity wasn't there. And for most people, I don't think it can be, but I think indulging yourself with a little bit of reflection time to ask the questions, well, what makes me happy? Where am I in flow? What do I want to do? What impact do I want to have? They're really important questions to ask as soon as possible, because that can really become a decision-making matrix for the rest of your life. And that great line, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. But if you have a sense of what you want, you can start to build a plan. I am pretty uncompromising about saying how privileged I was growing up and how privileged I still am. And that privilege is economic privilege, that we never wanted for anything, but it's also emotional and psychological privilege, that my parents were so supportive with all of the rogue decisions that I made all throughout my career. And knowing that they respected me enough to let me make those mistakes, make the madcap decisions, that felt really special even at the time. I knew I was challenging them, and they supported me, and they still support me in the ways that they can. And so that understanding and acknowledgement of our privilege is where the inspiration and the support comes from, and still does. When I was in school, when I was in 6th year, we had a big art exhibition for the Leaving Cert class. And that year in Loretto-on-the-Green, there was a horrendous, tragic accident. There was a pretty substantial fire in the school that took 6 lives. A huge tragedy, and one minor symptom of that was that all of our portfolios were lost. And I had been intending to go to art school, but when the portfolio was gone, I had to scrap that idea, and I kind of threw a strop and decided I was going to go straight to work and earn and learn at the same time. And the education that I got through retail, through the fashion industry on the shop floor, that has formed my understanding of clothes, of customer behaviour, of human behaviour in general, and the industry. And that has really allowed me to bring all that experience and understanding to bear in my own business now. I speak a lot about fear, and I think Elizabeth Day said it best. She said that fear will always be in the car with you. It's not that you can do anything to take the fear away, but you can't let it sit in the front. You can't let it choose the music, and you absolutely can't let it give you directions. You have to acknowledge the fear that you have. We all have it. But we have to also challenge ourselves to overcome those fears. And I was definitely afraid of success as much as I was of failure, because we fear the unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. I look back, and one of the turns that I could have taken in my life was to go to London early as a stylist. I was good enough, but I was afraid. I was afraid of what would happen if I didn't succeed, and equally afraid of what would happen if I did succeed. I always ask myself a question when I'm making a decision now. Is fear part of this decision-making process? And I challenge myself not to let it hold me back. The best advice I was ever given was when I was granted the license to set up Dress for Success, that is now WorkEqual, 12 years ago. And I got what I wanted, and I didn't know what to do with it. I remember breaking down on New Year's Eve at a party, bawling, crying and saying, I don't know how I'm going to do this, I've no experience, I know nothing. And I remember our business owner at that party said, the thoughts of doing something are 100 times worse than actually doing it. Once you start, it'll be okay. And really, that has been borne out in everything that I've done. The experience of the shoot today was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But I know I'm not the average bear. I know that I've spent a lot of time in front of the camera. I know that it's a joyful experience for me, and that comes from having built myself to a place where I have confidence in myself, I enjoy what I do. And I would say, if that is a challenge for anybody watching this, make sure that you surround yourself with people who can help you to find your wings. That's what we do at WorkEqual. That's what exists to support women to thrive in their careers. But it's the little things. Who are the people who are around you? Are they giving you wings? And just make sure they are. I think when we look at how women can function in business, as business owners, and also within our organisations, there are fundamental issues, structural issues that need to be addressed. It's just history. Men designed workplaces for men, and we need to pull it all apart now and see what works. Not just for women to thrive, but for everybody to thrive. The next generations, our societies, our communities. We need to embrace the idea of pregnancy, of maternity leave, of paternity leave. I honestly believe we should start setting some targets for men. Targets for men to take paternity leave, targets for men to work flexibly. We keep pinning the target on the women, and that is not the right thing to do. This is an all society issue. We need to address it as that.